This is my journey. Inspired one story at a time, a library of leaders was created. It began as a journey to learn. As time went on, it began to grow. All it needed was a platform, and this podcast was created to listen, to inspire, to share. I am a storyteller, and this is my journey. Welcome to another episode of Profiles in Leadership. I'm your host, Steve Anderson, and this episode is brought to you by Silna Health. That's S-I-L-N-A, the premium front-end RCM company that leverages technology with a team of onshore insurance experts to handle benefit checks, eligibility checks, and prior authorizations. Finally, a vendor that you can trust, like a full-time employee that scales with your business. Just mention the Profiles in Leadership podcast to receive a free trial. Welcome to another episode of Profiles in Leadership. I'm your host, Steve Anderson, and today our guest is Rebecca Fitzsimmons. Rebecca is the founder of Tactical Harmony, an online business dedicated to mentoring ambitious professionals and businesses on holistic leadership and mindset strategies. She is also the host of the Tactical Harmony podcast, in which she shares game-changing, transformative tactics supporting her community to gracefully navigating their careers and home life while enjoying freedom, abundance, and bliss. Over the last 2 decades, Rebecca has served as an NCIS Special Agent and as a senior leader in a technology company. Throughout her global experience living and working around the world, 9+ years of which were in the leadership ranks, Rebecca saw firsthand how holistic leadership was the answer to every challenge. And now it is Rebecca's mission and pledge to share these lessons and blessings with the world. So Rebecca, welcome to the program. It's great to have you on today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the wonderful introduction, and I am thrilled to be here.
So give us a little context on your background. I guess the first thing is tell us exactly what is an NCIS Special Agent, and then tell us a little bit about your journey, where you grew up, and how you got to where you're at today.
I'll kind of work it from that way chronologically. So I'm born and raised in a small town in northeastern Ohio. Most people haven't heard of, but maybe you've heard of Geneva. It's on the tippy top corner of Ohio, right outside Cleveland. And that's where I'm born and raised. And I came from very humble beginnings. All of my family's still there. Absolutely love Ohio. And then when I went to college, I went to West Virginia University. Go Mountaineers. And my degree, you had
Oh
it.
yeah, got to do that.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
Blue and gold. And my degree is in forensic and investigative science. And as a part of completing my degree, I had to complete an internship. So I was looking at crime labs, all of that. And I had somebody come up to me who's now an FBI agent. And he said, you need to look at NCIS. Now, this is not going to age myself, but this was many moons ago before the TV show. And now there are how many NCIS TV shows? So my reply to him was, well, what's NCIS? Oh, it's the Naval Criminal Investigative Service. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not in the military. I'm not a Marine or a sailor. No, you don't need to be. They're civilian federal agents, just like FBI, DEA, ATF. Pick your alphabet soup. So the rest is history. I did an internship with the United States Naval Academy. And then I fell in love with all things being a special agent. And I knew that was my trajectory. And so when I graduated college, I did a little bit of forensics. But then I went into the special agent world, did a short tour with the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, which is our sister agency, but for about 13 and a half years, solely with NCIS. To answer your second part of your question, what the heck does an NCIS agent do? We have 3 main missions. One is to reduce crime. So we work felony level criminal investigations that impact the Department of the Navy. So that's the United States Navy and the United States Marine Corps. And they're any type of nexus. So it could be a service member, it could be their family member, a friend, any type of connection with the military. And we also do counterterrorism and we do counterintelligence. And I've had the good fortune and honor to be able to serve around the world. And I worked across all three disciplines, which is kind of unusual. Usually you stick to one track. I got to work
Yeah.
across all three. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, it sounds exciting and romantic. And so why aren't you still doing it? Is it just too intense, too much, or what? You just have
No.
different interests?
No, in fact, that would have probably kept me there because I like intensity and I like diversity and different things. I ended up leaving after almost 15 years as a Fed because I wanted to serve in a different sector. I wanted to serve on a different scale. And at that point, I had been in the leadership ranks for several years. My last duty station was at our Marine Westfield office, which is in Camp Pendleton, California. And I was the assistant special agent in charge, which is second in command. And I just wanted to try different things and I wanted to lead different sectors. And so that's when I joined a tech company. And then obviously now I'm an entrepreneur running my
Yeah.
business. And yeah, it was an intuitive nudge that made no sense to others, but it made all of the sense in the world to me.
Yeah. And it just, again, I don't know that much about it other than what you just told me, but it just seems like kind of a badass job, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
just kind of you felt like a badass doing
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And then growing up in that part of Ohio, with the weather in the winters, probably toughened you up a little bit too.
Oh yeah, I mean the grit and resilience muscles were there for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
winter in Ohio is not like winter here in Montana where it's very pretty and the big snowflakes, like picture a Hallmark movie. That freezing rain and the dreary weather in Ohio. Like I love you, Ohio, but the winters were just not terribly fun.
So where in Montana are you?
I'm up in the northwestern corner,
Okay,
outside
great.
Missoula.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm familiar with it. Awesome. So tell us a little bit now. As you say, you're an entrepreneur. You got your own business going, and you talk about holistic leadership. So tell us a little bit about what does that mean to you, and um, what makes it holistic.
Yeah, absolutely. Holistic leadership is essentially a whole person approach to an influence and inspire yourself as well as influencing, inspiring others. And this is where I see traditional leadership models. It usually focuses on the team that you're leading or the person that you are supervising. And we don't really harness yourself first. Because I truly believe with every fiber of my being, if you can't lead yourself, you can't lead others. If I am not setting the example, if I'm not setting the standard, if I'm not working out in the morning, but I'm telling my team, yeah, no, physically train, do all the things, but I'm not doing it, that's not a good look. And so there's a lot of components to it. One, of course, being emotional intelligence, having that self-awareness and self-regulation so that I'm able to have stronger relationships and also be aware of my team and what they're going through. And those are the strongest, most badass leaders that I have seen on a global scale. And which is why my passion, holistic leadership, I launched my business, Tactical Harmony, to really anchor in these principles to not only, I would say, those in a traditional leadership role, but this is just as much self leadership as it is, hey, I'm leading a team, a business, a squad, because how I lead my days, how I lead my relationships, how I lead
Mhm.
my finances, these same principles apply. And so I have a lot of high performers, ambitious professionals. I have businesses. I have those that are traditionally in a leadership role. Maybe you're looking to get into leadership. All of these principles apply. There's not like a line that draws from personal to professional life. And so, yeah, it's my mission now. I have a podcast. I host training and workshops, keynotes. I'm so unbelievably grateful. And if you would have told me I was going to do this 5 years ago, I would have thought you had five heads.
It's so interesting how many people I talk to, and myself included, that say exactly that. If you would have predicted that I would be doing this or that I would have reached this position or this level or whatever, it's just sometimes it's just hard to vision and hard to see, and it just kind of I know it doesn't just happen because you work hard there, but it comes to be, and I think a lot of people sometimes want to know what that is. Like I'm trying to set this up. I want it to be just like this. And sometimes you can't predict it. You just got to keep moving forward, and you achieve things you never dreamed you would.
Absolutely. You really do. And it's just that taking that first step. And I had the luxury of building that muscle and that intuition and following your gut for years. And I knew this was the right move. But in no way could I have predicted that I would be sitting here talking to you today
Mhm.
or training individuals and businesses. Like, what is this? This entrepreneur life, creating a website, just all of the things. There's nothing too small. And it really just requires you to take that first step and then the next step. And then you never know where your path is going to lead you.
And I think I I saw that you are a huge believer in mindsets, as am I. So tell us a little bit about, what's a mindset that you had that you can kind of identify to take you to this point in your career. What do you think that mindset was, and what do you think back on?
Yeah, I love this question. This is so good. Yeah, mindset, the power of mindset cannot be overstated. It is truly the starting point in the race of life. There is so much that we can accomplish as humans. We're capable of such greatness, but it starts with our mind. If you look around you right now, the microphone I'm talking into, we're zooming, we have this computer in front of us. All of this was a thought in someone's mind. And do you think that if the creator of the computer or the laptop or the MacBook, when they were trying to explain, "Oh, I've got this crazy idea of this thing," people are going to look at you like you're nuts and you're crazy. And that's the point. It doesn't have to make sense to others. It just has to make sense to you. And not going too much into neuroscience or all of the things, but all of it is very relevant and pertinent because this isn't just theory or Rebecca's thinking. This is really based in neuroscience. How you think determines how you feel, right? Because an emotion, energy in motion, emotion is the end product of a thought. It's like the chemical product of an experience that we have. And then that emotion, that chemical product determines how we act or determines what we don't do. Both are
Yeah.
super relevant. How we think and how we feel create our state of being, and then that determines, like, it's like a Wi-Fi signal. It's magnetic around us, and this is measurable. And we're like this Wi-Fi signal. And it's why are people so lucky? They just have opportunities drop out of the sky. Well, it's actually based in biology and science and all of the things that
Yeah.
they do, neuroscience, from a neuroscience perspective. So, not to dive too much into that, but the power of thought, how you talk to yourself, how do you think? How do you talk to others? When you wake up in the morning, are you thinking about your problems yesterday? Because that's what most people do. Or are you, empowering yourself with invigorating thoughts? Do you have some cool affirmations that you state? Do you have a gratitude practice, which is beyond powerful? And then you're starting your day with such personal power. You're going to conquer, you're going to have a really kick-ass day rather than thinking about the problem or someone that wronged you 20 years ago. And then you're giving your power away and then you're upset. And then guess what? Then you're making that anger emotion and you're living in that. And your body doesn't know the difference between a real or an imagined experience. And so then you're just kind of dumping those bad things in. You're not feeling good. And then people will go through this for years. So
Yeah.
it's everything. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So
Right.
it all starts here.
Yeah. So tell us about who's your typical client right now. So when someone hires you, what are they looking for, and what does that client look like?
Yeah, I would say recent clients, a lot of federal employees right now.
Oh man,
um,
this yeah.
right? I mean, I speak the language. That was the majority of my life, almost 15 years. But it's really those that are looking to step into their next level of power. So that could be, it's usually ambitious professionals, aspiring leaders, or kind of like newer leaders. And they're looking to step into that next level of what can success look like long term? What is sustainable? They might be feeling stuck. It could be a mentality within a certain person or the team. And how do we break through this? We've tried everything. That's what I hear.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
can I do? And then for businesses, it's been financial industry, it's been police departments, it's been kind of a mix, mostly corporate, where they're looking just to train on mindset and leadership. And yeah, it's holistic leadership right now is really taking off, which I am elated to see. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of the mix. It's really a little bit of everything.
Well, you mentioned gratitude practice, so let's dive into that a little bit. How do you counsel your clients, and how do you set up a gratitude practice?
Yeah, and very candidly, this is something I dismissed for years. When I heard about it and I just kept seeing it, I'm like, well, what is that really going to do anything? And I just kind of poo-pooed it until I did it. And wow, it is so profound and transformative. And so I do share this with my clients, every single one. And what I like to share is really starting it in the mornings and then ending your evenings. So, what that looks like is thinking of at least three things that you're grateful for. And it could be the feeling of the sheets on your skin in the morning, the warmth of your bed, the smell of coffee brewing, it could be weather, it could be the love of your child or your spouse. I mean, there's nothing so grandiose or it's nothing too small. It's something that you're really grateful for. But that's not enough. You have to really feel and tune into that emotion associated with it. So I can say, I'm so grateful to be here and just say words, or I can really like I am very grateful and I can just like I'm literally touching my heart. I'm like I am so grateful. I'm smiling for those that are listening right now, and that is true and I'm feeling it. So why does that matter? Because I am training my body and my mind. I'm dumping the feel good chemicals in my body. My biochemistry is being altered. I'm creating new neural pathways in my brain and I'm telling myself there's so many things that are right and so many good things and blessings going
Mhm.
on right now. And you can't be angry and grateful at the same time. And Dr. Joe Dispenza is famous for saying that. And he's someone that I very much respect. And that is very, very important because, again, if we're Wi Fi signals and we're starting off our day, I don't want to be PO'd in the morning and then this kind of sets my day off. And then I'm in traffic and I'm mad, I'm road rage. And then I see the coworker that makes me mad, or I get a project I don't want to work. It could just keeps going and going and going. But if I start with gratitude and I'm feeling good, do you think I'm going to forget and let my energy go a little sideways because someone may have cut me off? No, because I'm feeling good. I'm grateful. I'm in a powerful state. And that allows me to maintain my personal power and not give it away. I don't care what someone thinks of me. I don't care. Okay, someone cut me off. Big deal. And I'm feeling good and I'm maintaining that. And then that's how I project the rest of my day. So there's so much goodness in it. And of course, ending your day right before you go to sleep is equally as powerful.
Wow, you sold it well. That and I can just see from your smile and your passion that the benefits exude out of you. So that was a great description. So let's talk a little bit about resilience. How do you mentor leaders to deal with the setbacks and the failures that we all have?
Yes, this is a topic that is a continuous theme. In fact, I just trained out in Helena, Montana on this to incredible professionals out there. So, resilience, I think sometimes when we think about resilience and grit, we think that we have to be in an adverse situation or something that's super challenging to kind of build those muscles. And I call BS on that. You can build resilience now. It starts now. In fact, it starts yesterday. And so, how do you do that? Well, you do hard things continuously. That's what you do. So, instead of doing 10 push ups, I want you to do 12. Instead of running a mile, I want you to run a mile and a half. It's something that I train my clients on that when you start off on this, I want it to be uncomfortable because we do not grow when we're comfortable. So
Yeah.
discomfort is a sign of growth. Growing pains are real. So I want this to be something easy to fit in your schedule. So you get up a half hour early, you fit in a couple more reps, you whatever that is for you, but it's still uncomfortable. It's a little difficult. And then you continue that, you keep building on it, and in time, results will compound. That's how it works. So it's really anchoring in the philosophy of Kaizen, a Japanese term for continuous incremental improvement. Focus on getting 1% better each and every single day. It's like, and I love this analogy, if you're a farmer on a tractor and you're going straight and then you just turn 1 degree in a mile, you're going to be way further away than if you would have stayed straight. The same applies to how do you run a marathon? One step at a time. How do you build a wall? One brick at a time. And I think we romanticize the ending, but we dread the execution. And so I want to flip that script and train our brain that this can be fun. Let's start small. Let's incorporate it. Let's do the hard things. And what you're doing is building resilience muscles. And so your state of grit is naturally going to heighten. So when you do have a crisis come, when you do have life throw something crazy your way, you're going to have that foundation that's solid, that you're going to be in a better position and postured to withstand it in a much greater state than you were if you're sitting on the couch every day, just kind of playing defeatist or victim mentality. Woe is me. Which person's going to respond better, right? The person that's
Yeah.
doing those hard things. So that is the recommendation that I share.
Yeah, just get moving forward. I think there are times that, we wait to try and make everything perfect before we move, which is never going to work. And sometimes I've said to you before, sometimes you do have to shoot before you aim, get it going.
Yes, yeah. And then you get feedback, the gift of feedback,
Yeah.
because we don't get feedback unless we're moving. And execution trumps knowledge every day of the week. And then I'm given the gift of feedback. Hey, this isn't working. I need to adjust fire. I got to pivot a little bit. But I won't have that unless I start moving, unless I start acting.
Now, you may have said some of this already in your description, but what high performance habits do you see that the great leaders that you've worked with all seem to have? What is it that they do better than
Yeah.
say the average person?
Yeah, I mean, definitely what I just said, to do something hard and, maybe just to say it differently is raise your standard. So continuously raise your standard, make that old high the new low. So yeah, I was crushing 50 push-ups. Well, guess what? My new goal is 75. I'm raising the standard. That's how you get better, stronger, leaner, faster. And then I would say maybe like a second one would be the power of mornings and really setting those powerful intentions and gratitude. And what I like to do is like the 80-20 rule. So it's called the Pareto principle, that 80% of the results we get are really from 20% of what we do. So that means you can be busy all day, but you're not moving the proverbial ball down the field. So you need to examine what is your input? What are the actions? Because input equals output. So what am I doing that is really driving the results that I'm seeking? That's what I want to turn the volume up on. That's what I want to double down on. I could be doing a lot of other stuff that could be, kind of important, but it's not giving me anything. Yeah, I'm going to remove that. So you're constantly testing, you're constantly iterating, you're constantly going through that 80-20, and that can look different day to day depending on what your dreams, your goals are, what you got going on with your career, your family, your business, whatever that is. And that's absolutely huge. And then I would say lastly is to do something for your mind, body, and spirit every single day. So that really is the essence of holistic leadership. So I want to feed my mind, I want to feed my body, and I want to feed my spirit. And so that could look like meditating, that could look like doing something fun. Yes, I'm telling you to do something fun every day. What's the point if you're not having fun? You want to obviously exercise, move your body, try to eat healthy meals, and then feed your mind. It could be listening to a podcast. It could be
Yeah.
reading a book, even a chapter or an article, just something. So I'm nourishing all parts of me. And damn, do I feel so good when I've got everything locked and loaded in. I'm dialed in, I'm laser focused. So really trying to make a concerted effort to do that each and every single day.
It's so interesting, and you just said it. It's in my generation, it was work hard and work harder and put all this time in and whatever. And I think we're learning that self-care is so important.
Mhm.
And then a lot of times I hear people say, well, yeah, that all sounds good and fine, but I just don't have time for that. I'm too busy. I'm too doing this. I'm doing that. But you know, I think the newer generations are showing us that perhaps self-care should be as high a priority as working hard and putting in the time to get stuff done.
Yeah, I definitely am passionate about this because I am a workaholic.
Hmm.
And I will go, 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 put myself last. I mean, I've been there, done that. And I really kind of liken it to my results are even better. I am even more abundant. I'm even more meaningful when I have fuel in my tank. So I look at it as, some people may have a negative connotation for self-care or what, whatever kind of word or label you want to use. But I look at it as this is fuel in my tank. I can't drive my car if I have no gas. We can all agree, right? So
Yeah.
I have to fill my tank. That could be going for me. I like to be outside. So I want to go outside. I want to go for a hike. I'll meditate outside. I'll walk my dogs outside, breathe in the fresh air. I'm looking at the mountains and pine trees right now. That to me, that's filling my cup. I don't have to do that for 5 hours. Some days I might need that, but I do it quick hits. I'm constantly feeding myself or giving myself something, and I'm actually moving faster. It's like the saying slow down to speed up, and it's a harmony, right? I never use the word
Yeah.
balance because balance insinuates 50-50, and I call BS on that. But it's really a harmony because some
Yeah.
weeks I might have to give more to myself or my family, whereas other weeks I am full court press my business. I've got a lot going on. I've got back-to-back travel, and that's okay too. And I think we kind of put these constraints on ourselves that it has to be perfect, which is BS, that doesn't exist, or it
Right.
has to be a certain way. And it's like, no, let me take that rock out of your pack. But you do have to give to yourself. You do have to do that. And then you're going to be the best version of you when you do that continuously.
And then how does spirituality fit into that harmony, as you say? Again, that's something that didn't used to talk about much, but I think is becoming more accepted and something that we all need to think about and deal with.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And spirituality, it really is connecting to your truth and to your highest self, your highest timeline, your authentic self. Because how many of us put on masks? We do something because my buddy's doing it, or, everyone at work's doing this thing, or it's a fad, or what. No, but it doesn't feel right to you. So it's really connecting to yourself, and it's divine. And so that can include religion. For a lot of people, it does. Personally, I connect to God, the source within, the universe, all of the things. And I do that through several modalities, but one, connecting to my truth and source and God is through meditation. It's getting beyond your analytical mind and just connecting to yourself. And when you quiet the noise, it can be scary if you've never done it. Your body's gonna throw a temper tantrum, completely normal, y'all. Like that's gonna happen. But when you do that and you shut it out, you're developing and harnessing coherence with your heart, with your brain. Yes, your heart has a brain. I won't nerd out, but there's a whole neuroscience on that as well. Like you can measure this, and when this is in coherence, your heart and brain, then you are operating at peak performance. You feel good. Your DNA feels good. Your cells are responding. Like it all matters, and that does include your thinking. So meditation, excuse me. Meditation for me is incredibly powerful to shut down the crazy fast-paced world, come home. It's really a remembrance of self, slow down my brain waves, and then I have such clarity. It's like taking a shower in your mind. You take a shower every day, you brush your teeth every day. I meditate every single day. And so to me, that is nourishing my spirit, which very candidly I neglected for many years. And when I started to incorporate things that make me feel good, like I do things that are fun. I actually schedule it because when I schedule it and I commit, it happens. And I feel my soul is on fire. I feel so good. So I call it soul care.
Yeah, that's a good term. So,
Mhm.
how does a young woman from Northwest Ohio? You said you started with humble means. You've traveled the world. You've had this exciting life. How do you end up in Montana?
Yes. Oh, I get asked this a lot. So I've been here for years. Yeah, I've literally lived all over the world, lived overseas for several years in Italy. I've traveled to 26 countries. And for me, I always found myself wanting the mountains. I love the mountains. It just speaks to me, even though mostly in NCIS, I was stationed on the coast, like in San Diego or Rhode Island and DC. I was always kind of like, near bodies of water, which are also amazing and beautiful. But I always found myself yearning for the mountains. Even in Europe, I was like, let's go to the Matterhorn, Swiss Alps, let's go to the French Alps, Mont Blanc. And I just crave it. And there's just such a sense of peace and serenity and tranquility that I absolutely need to center myself and to ground myself. Because again, Rebecca can be a workaholic and I'm go, 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 and I'm in my mind. And I have to come back home, and mountains just kind of give me that gift. And so that is why we chose Montana and been here for years. And I love it. Love it. Love it.
So definitely see how nature does that, and for some of us that is a big deal. What did you learn, and what did you gain for your present mindset and your coaching with other leaders that you learned by living in different countries?
Oh, wow. You learn so much about yourself. You learn so much about the world, and it's really having such openness and really kind of widening your aperture to so many different things that you can do and interacting with people. And it really comes down to humanity. It's like we're leading ourselves, we're leading others, we're people, which really anchors in holistic leadership. And I'm very famous for saying this is why I launched Tactical Harmony in my business is because I've seen these holistic leadership principles work on a global scale. It's not specific to the federal government. It's not specific to a tech company or the private sector. Every industry, every level, everyone, it works because we all have a mind, body, and spirit. We all need to anchor into our mindset and have that victory mindset that gets you from where you are to where you want to go a whole hell of a lot faster. This is the stuff that collapses timelines. And again, I've seen it. I've seen it all over the world. And so this is why I'm so very passionate about it. And it's why I'm here. It's my why, my service. It's my heart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Awesome. So, how does legacy figure into when you're dealing with leaders and you talk to them about what they're trying to accomplish and how they do it? How does legacy play a part of that?
I love that. Yeah, I mean it's definitely not a one size fits all, but it's really anchoring to your what and your why. So that can look different for everybody and every business and every person. So my what and why, the what and why comes first, and then answers come second. So if you can't explain, well, what are your values? Why do you do what you do? Why do you have a podcast? Why do you interview different people? Why do you, and you just kind of answer, you ask a series of questions which prompt a series of different answers, and usually you can kind of weed through and it becomes so very relevant, like, oh, this is why I do what I do. These are the things that are important to me. And then that ties to your legacy. Like if your relationships are mirrors and everything is a crystallization of what you're kind of doing and your team is mirroring and reflecting back to you, would you be proud of that? Why or why not? What is stifling growth? What is accelerating growth? And so it's kind of like asking a series of questions and what and ultimately you want, like what's the vision? And then what's your mission? And then
Mhm.
what can we do to fill that in? Is it you don't know what your values are? Is it they're ordered in a different way and that we need to flip them? I mean, there's so many things and strategies to unpack, but all of that informs your legacy and what you leave behind in this world. And it really is an exercise because not a lot of people are thinking about it. And that's kind of where I start and then kind of walk backwards.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, if I'm thinking about, and I'm an executive coach as well, so I know I experience this as well. But you said it earlier that you have to start with yourself. You have to know yourself first. And when people come to you and want this coaching relationship, do you think that they expect that to start there and learn that, or do you think it's more like just tell me how to communicate with these people and how to motivate them?
A little bit of A and a little bit of B.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think, for those that are familiar with my, LinkedIn presence, or maybe they're subscribed to my newsletter, maybe it's less of a surprise and that's what they need help with and kind of building that and nourishing it and need that boost. And for others, they are like, wait, oh, okay, I didn't even think about that. I'm not really sure. And then you can literally see them like new neural networks being formed, and they are just trying to explore that part of themselves that maybe they've never done before. it's pretty cool to witness. And sometimes, I'm met with hesitancy, like, well, no, I just wanted you to tell me how to do it. And they get a little frustrated. And usually that's some sort of limiting belief that
Hmm.
pops up, or fear. And no, it's uncomfortable. I just want to just tell me how I need to do it. And I was like, well, this is part of the equation. And so just kind of bringing them back home, bringing them back to that starting point. And then they totally get it and they run with it and they accomplish the most amazing things. And I love watching that. So I would say both, but mostly people are pretty darn open. They're like, let's go. What I'm doing's not working. Something's got to give. So I'm ready to rock and roll. Let's do this.
And how do your clients like they hire you and they're working with you? Do they go for a period of time and then drop off and do something different, or maybe they're working on what you gave them to do, or do you feel like your clients stick with you through the long haul and it's just an ongoing relationship?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what the needs of what they are seeking at any given time. I have people that it's been years that I've been working with them.
Yeah.
And others it's like it's a month. It's 1 month and this is what they need. It's very potent, it's very enriched, and we dive in. I mean, you get 100% of Rebecca, and for some it's 3 months. So it depends on if it's one-on-one. Usually it can be a little bit longer. But if it's a corporate relationship or a business, it's usually like an event. And then usually from
Mhm.
there, which most recently I have, folks reaching out to me after the training, the workshop. Hey, I'd like more information on XYZ. What does that
Yeah.
look like? Let's talk. And then it kind of, creates and yields different opportunities from there.
And have you done some keynote speaking? Is that part of your what you do?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm actually focused on this year. There's a couple of opportunities hopefully on the horizon, and I love public speaking. The majority of what I've done so far is the federal government. So, the Pentagon and all of those things, and it's not really broadcasted, but in
Yeah.
tactical harmony in my business, this is now a core focus for me and putting myself out there. So, yeah, absolutely. There's just so much energy when you are standing in front of an audience that has an appetite and wants to grow, and there's that hunger, and you just kind of feed off of each other. I think it's awesome. Like, I absolutely love it. So,
And as part of that plan to do it internationally too?
oh, I'd love to. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Emphatically, yes, because that I love travel. That's one of my passions. So if I could go internationally again and speak on a stage and serve, I'd be so happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us about your podcast. How long you been doing it, and do you interview people, or do you just give your advice and your pearls? What do you do?
Yeah, so excuse me. So I started it last year and it has been a solo podcast. And this year I'm going to start bringing on guests. So I'm actually in the midst of doing that and scheduling people to come on, and I will be publicizing that. So I'm in that transition phase right now. So if you look up Tactical Harmony Podcast, it's all solo right now. And I keep them intentionally very short. So I want quick hits, very digestible. You're walking around the block with a dog, you're in the car on your way to work. I want these to be easy to fit in because really targeting those busy high performers. I got a lot on my plate. I can't listen to an hour podcast. And so that was my initial intent, kind of creating it. But of course, bringing on guests, it's going to be longer conversations and things like that. So then I'm appealing to a different audience, but I will also include my short, quick hits as well. So it'll be kind of a combination of the two. And I'm really excited to bring that to life in 2025.
I'm just curious when you give your quick hits on the shorter program format. Is that something that you really sketch out and really prepare for? You have a lot of energy and enthusiasm. Do you just start talking and let it roll?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of go in, so I follow my gut and my intuition. So if something's on my heart or mind that day, then that's what I'm going to talk about. So nothing's really scripted. I might take a couple of notes of, I really want to mention this point, or I really want to do XYZ. And I'll just make sure that it's mentally primed and then I kind of talk about it. But I just sit here with my microphone and I'm like, let's go. And then I just kind of talk for about 10, 12, maybe 15 minutes, no more than 20. And I just hit the wave tops of whatever the topic is and the relevance. And I try to always leave action items. So I call it the so what factor. Intellectually, we can understand things all day. But you and I both know I need to go to the gym, but then going to the gym's the actual act that's going to make me, more fit.
Yeah.
So I always try to leave at least 1 to 3. Here's what you can do starting today. You hang up this podcast, you put down your phone, do this one thing, or start tomorrow. And so I don't make anything overwhelming. I want it to be, I like to demystify, super digestible. Here's a step, go. And that's kind of like the architecture, if you will, of the podcast.
And when you're working with clients, I assume most of it's either over Zoom or the phone, but do you travel to their place of business as well and work with them and their teams, or is it mostly remote?
Yeah, for one-on-one, it's all remote via Zoom. And then for the any kind of businesses or events, I would travel to them.
Yeah, yeah. So you've been at this for a while. You're thinking of building this business. You got your podcast going. What's next? What? I know you're thinking ahead all the time, and you got a big vision. So what does this look like 2 or 3 or 5 years down the road?
Yeah, tactical harmony is gonna it's growing and scaling, right? Because I started this just me. This was my idea, launching this, the website, all of it's me. I've had nobody help me with any of that. So, excuse me, it's really growing my team, growing the business, and then just the increasing the volume of the keynotes, increasing the volume of the workshops, perhaps different partnerships, things like that, and things that maybe it's on my mind right now. I'm not sure if it's something I want to take tactical harmony in because I want it to be very sacred to the essence of holistic leadership and mindset principles. So different things on the horizon, but it's probably amplified version of what you're seeing now. So the podcast's going to have guests. The Rebecca's going to be going on more stages, more opportunities to serve and really just spread this message.
I would imagine then you work with people and they connect with you and they think you're awesome. They probably try and hire you to join their company and be on their executive team. Do you get a lot of that?
I have, yes. I have, and I have politely declined. Thank you, flattered, but that it's not aligned. And for me, it's about alignment. It's that soul, I call it soul aligned ambition. So it could be amazing opportunity. All of them are amazing opportunities, but if it's not aligned with what I'm thinking and feeling and the direction I'm moving in at that particular time, it's a no. Because if it's not a strong yes, it's a no,
Yeah.
because those are intertwined. And so that's how I've been operating. But yeah, I have had those opportunities. It's pretty cool. Cause I'm like, just a couple years ago, I had my badge and my gun. I'm chasing the bad guys, spies, terrorists. And now I'm being like, again, if you would have told me 5 years ago, I would have thought you were crazy. Like I literally like, what is an entrepreneur? What do they do? Like, here I am.
So do you miss that adrenaline, or is it just adrenaline in a different way?
It's adrenaline in a different way. I mean, I think I kind of hinted at earlier, I enjoy diversity. I don't want my days being predictable and the same thing every day. I like that. I like the spiciness, the variety. And so I still have that very much so in this life. It looks obviously a little different. I'm not moving every couple of years. And yeah, it looks different. The landscape is different, but I still have that variety, just not intense adrenaline as I had before. But yeah, I miss the people, but there's so many people that I mean, I talk to my NCIS brothers and sisters every day. Like we're always texting or on the horn or something. So they're still very much a part of my life, and I'm very grateful for them and their continued contributions to our country and to our warfighters.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, in anticipation of our discussion today, what haven't I asked you that you want to be sure and get in the program?
Ooh, what a question. Well, here's one. So I wrote a book. I just published it a couple of months ago in December, and it's called Unleashed: Holistic Leadership Insights from Our Canine Companions. So my love in life are dogs and holistic leadership, and I combine the two. And I talk about how they just organically and so authentically and beautifully represent mindfulness, grit, discipline, love and connection, adventure and curiosity, all of the things that make up our world and life. And they just do it. They do it every day. And we just got to tune in and pay attention. So I wrote that book and I released it. And that's the one thing I'm so grateful for it. It's a fun passion project. And I've so enjoyed, so grateful for the feedback that I've received. And so it's out there on Amazon. And so that's the one thing that we didn't talk about, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
so
that's great.
connected to leadership.
Yeah. So, what kind of a writer are you? Are you somebody that schedules time to sit down and write and you do it, or do you have to be inspired and and some days you write and some days you don't? What's your process in actually writing the book?
So for the book, it was every single Sunday morning for a couple of hours, I would write. And I just had no distractions. I scheduled the time and it was just me, energy, inflow, writing. Excuse me. And that's how I wrote the book. And it was a very easy process for me. I know that may not be very common advice. The book took me years and years. Like, nope, I was journaling and it was after a meditation and I wrote down things and everything I wrote down on that day happened. And one of them was a book and it surprised me when I was journaling. It wasn't something I was dreaming about, planning, nothing. It just came out. And so then the next month I started writing in April of 2024. I finished it in the summer and then I went through self-publishing and then it was out in December. I was like, when I'm convicted, I move, I execute, I don't second guess, I just do it. I had no idea how the hell to write a book. I had no idea what is self-publishing. What does this do? It didn't matter because the what and why comes first, and then the answers come second. And you will find that it's more ease and flow than you think. Don't get caught in the tyranny of how. How could I? How could? Mm-mm. Put that aside. You got to have that strong conviction in your bones, and you move. So that's what I did. And then day to day, I don't write, like I don't have any book on my mind. Well, I have a book on my mind, but it's not going to come to life in this year, but I journal. I don't journal all the time, but I do journal and I find it very insightful because things come out of my pen that I didn't even know was in my body or in my mind. And so I find that to be a very exhilarating exercise. And so I do journal.
So it sounds like there's another book in you that's going to come out someday.
Yes, and it's going to be traditional leadership, and it will be, well, I'll say traditional. It may have a dog example, but it's not going to be canine inspired. So it's going to be more traditional with like holistic leadership and different things that I have seen in my crazy, wild professional
Yeah. I
trajectory at
I,
NCIS.
I was going to say that to me sounds like a great book. Talking about cases you worked on
Yes.
and cases you solved, as an agent and how that relates to leadership and,
hmm
mistakes people made and why they go awry and whatever. I think that would be really interesting.
Yep, that's yeah, she's on the horizon, just not this year. I don't feel called to do it, but that did come up a lot as I was writing Unleashed. I was like, "Ooh, this would be such a good idea for book two." It just kind of organically came out. The more I was writing, the more those themes of like, yeah, this doesn't fit in Unleashed, but it fits beautifully over here. And so I kind of have the premise and ideas on my mind, and yeah, so it's on the horizon.
That's great. Well, Rebecca, usually at this point in the interview, I always ask my guests the same common question. And that question is, in relation to leadership, what is a pearl of wisdom that you could leave us with today?
Love this. You are capable of greatness. You, the leader, you, the person, your team, your everything. You are capable of anything you put your mind to and break through that glass ceiling because there's nothing holding you back. Not money, not time, not a circumstance, not a person. It's all you. And so having that extreme ownership, radical accountability of everything will give you so much power and fuel, and you will soar to the moon. So that would be my pearl of wisdom.
And with that pearl of wisdom, what do you credit for you having all those traits you just talked about? How come you think that way?
I would say it's a lot of experiences. I know my trajectory has been very unconventional. I realize that.
Yeah.
Living around the world, NCIS alone, working across all the disciplines. I mean, it gave me a lot of opportunity that a lot of people don't have. And so through that lens, I look and I think differently. And so that's why I want to share that with everyone, because you don't have to be an agent. You don't have to be in tech. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to have these. But I believe that experience is one of the greatest teachers out there. And so I've lived these things. So I'm not thinking it works. I know it works. And so that is how I have formed my leadership as a professional, as a human, as everything. And so that is why I shout this from the rooftops, so people can benefit from my lived experiences. And that's truly the greatest gift. Reward for me is to see someone break through whatever limitation or BS excuse or something or a mindset that they had. And then they go on to just accomplish such great things. Like, it fills my cup. My heart is full. There's nothing greater for me. And so that's why I do what I do.
Yeah. So have you become a Grizz fan yet, or is it all Mountaineers all the way?
Oh, Lord Jesus, you put me on the spot. Well, first of all, go Mountaineers and always go Buckeyes, because Ohio, we root. It doesn't matter. Like, it's sports. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna root for Grizz, and sorry, Bobcats out in Bozeman. It's controversial here.
Yeah,
But
it
yeah,
is.
I'm gonna root for the Grizz. I mean, that's where I'm at. I mean, yeah, we'll root for the Grizz, but Mountaineers, Buckeyes first.
Yeah. Well, Rebecca, thanks so much for your time today. You're a breath of fresh air, and I can just feel your passion coming out of you. So that's always awesome to talk to someone like that. Sounds like you're doing great and exciting things. So keep doing what you're doing. I hope your book does well. Hope listeners go out and check it out. And really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me. This was an honor, and I just had such a good time this afternoon. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Well, so did I. So maybe we'll meet somewhere down the road.
There we go. We'll make it
Okay.
happen.
Take care.
You too.
Bye bye. Thank you for listening to another episode of Profiles in Leadership. To listen to all my interviews, subscribe to Profiles in Leadership with Steve Anderson on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and many other popular podcast platforms. Some of these interviews are on video, and you can search YouTube for Profiles in Leadership with Steve Anderson. You can also access the entire library of interviews on my website, orange.coaching.com, and that is orangetheword.coaching.com, and go to the Media Center and click on Podcasts or Video Gallery. You can also enter the website from pilpodcast.com.